This morning we are going to be doing some Pilates for swimmers. So we've done it for runners, we've done it for cyclists, so now it's swimming. So if you're a triathlete, you put them all together and Bob's your uncle, you've got it sorted. All right, so obviously being a swimmer, you really have to have good shoulder flexibility. So as normal, this is where we're starting. And then a backstroke. And how about a front crawl now? Thumbs down, turn the palms outwards. And now open out the hips because, of course, for all sorts of swimming, you need flexible hips. And bring it back in again. So we're going to do some standing up exercises and then we take it down to the floor. Remember, you can use your poof or you can use your sofa if you need to, and I'm going to demonstrate both for you. Have a bit of a leg swing. And changing legs. And hold it there. So first of all, let's set posture before we get into the main body of the class. You want feet hip distance apart and facing forward. So remember, if you're a regular to my classes, you'll know that your hips is just your fist. So if you'll put your fist in between the toes and in between the ankles and then walk the feet in to match. Then make sure that they're facing forward. You really do have to look, because if you don't look, I bet you they're not facing forward. Press through your big toes. That will set your balance. And now let's start to come up onto the toes. As we warm up the calves, use your arms. Let's get a bit more bendy. Bend the knees a bit. All the way up onto your toes. Press through the big toes. Hold at the top. Ooh. Press through those big toes. And then let's lower them down. Lower your heels down. Hold the arms here. Turn the palms to me and push back. It's going to be so nice so early in the morning. To the front, up to the ceiling. One side, other side. And scrape the walls. So we're going to do a down dog to start us off, but obviously we need to do our roll downs first. So you keep your feet like this. I'm going to stand to the back of my mat here. Press through the big toes, knees soft, bottom under, shoulders back, roll it and lift your chest. Now put the chin into the neck and let's roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Go all the way and then bend your knees, uncurl. Your chin is the last thing to come up. When you're coming up, you're actually making sure, arms in the air, squeeze your head onto your toes. When you're rolling up, make sure that your knees don't touch. Keep them at the same level. And the best way to do that is to press through your big toes. Roll it back, chin, let's go. Bend your knees, bring it up. Now, way, let's do a butterfly to the back and move over here slightly. Roll down, bend the knees, bring it up onto the toes, round the back door, bring it down. Now let's stay here, like that. Might feel some crunching and a forward. And relax. Right, so now we're going to walk it forward into that down dog. So we're here. Reset that posture because I can more or less guarantee that the feet have gone a little bit of awry. Roll it, lift the chest, chin into the neck, and let's roll down and walk it into a down dog. Hands on the floor to walk it forward. Now I like to hold the sides of my mat so I don't slip, and then I can just concentrate more on the down dog. Try and get the head in between the feet. And now bend your knees, walk your hands back and uncurl. Back butterfly. Let's do it again. Stay down there for me this time. Chin down, off you go. Walking it forward, so in your down dog position, and then I want you to lift a leg. go for your right leg. Don't turn your hips in this occasion. You're trying to get your head on the floor without turning your hips. Let's change legs now. You'll feel the stretch from the calf all the way up to the bum on this supporting leg. You might not, but if you don't, it means that you've not come to my other classes where you need that stretch. Bend the knees and uncurl. Squeeze your head and then give me a butterfly to the back. Now you might think this is very yoga-ish. It is very yoga-ish. However, we are getting into the Pilates. We're just doing a bit of a limbering up. Let's go again. Chin. And walk it forward. Okay, give me one leg in the air. Keeping the hips facing the floor for now. Point your toes. How high can you get that leg? Now let's do the other one. So you feel the work at the back of the legs. You're trying to get your head on the floor because it's still a down dog and your toes on the ceiling. Really feeling the work and the stretch in that supporting leg. See your head's getting closer and closer to the floor. Now put the foot back, bend your knees, walk it back and uncurl onto the toes and then arms behind. Let's have another one where we'll do it into the hip opener. So keep the chest lifted. Let's go all the way down. Walk it forward. Now, lift your right leg in the air. Your hips are still facing the floor and you're still trying to get the most out of it. Now, hopefully, your right leg is the one that's closest to the camera. Turn outwards. Open that hip now so you're feeling that turn. Lengthening out and stretching the muscles from the hips across the abs. And let's change sides. Also tightening the glutes. So remember, let's go through the stages. Let's get the leg as high as possible and then turn. Look up to the ceiling. Really try and open out the hip. Feel the stretch, maybe from the ribs down past the hips. And then bring it back. Ooh, that was nice. Bend the knees. Walk the arms back. Uncurl. Onto your toes. And then a back butterfly. Get a proper one this time. Lifting the chest. All right, grab a quick drink before we move on to the next one. So we're opening up the sides now with my turning up top. It's because I've got a short body. Right, standing nice and wide. Make sure your feet are level. So, like that, or like that. Nice level feet. Roll it back. And now let's turn this foot. When you turn the foot, your chest wants to go that way, but we're going to bring it back round to the front so you actually start to feel things pulling here, there and everywhere. Bring the arms out to the shoulders. What I don't want you to do is that. Take a deep breath in and relax those shoulders. That's it. Now turn the palms to the front and slowly triangle it down. So we want the arms at 6 o'clock. The object of this isn't about touching the floor, because look what happens when I try and touch the floor when I'm not ready. So this comes forward and my whole back goes out of alignment. What I'm wanting to do is to go down between two panes of glass, that old chestnut. Shoulders are back and you're sliding. So if you're not touching the floor, it really doesn't matter because your technique is correct. If you touch the floor and your bottom's out, then you're losing everything from that exercise and it just becomes a vanity thing that you can touch the floor, but it's not actually a vanity thing because you're totally out and your technique's wrong. So remember, if you're not feeling that stretch there, is it because your bottom's sticking out? Breathe in, bend your knees. Ooh. So now the bottom probably does want to stick out a little bit. I don't care if your hand's on the floor or not. It could be here. It could be dangling. I honestly don't mind as long as that technique is correct. Let's bring it up and swap sides. Down to here. Triangle. Gliding it down. So my hand's on here, but not too much pressure. Bottom under. And bend the knee. You see, I'm more flexible on the other side than I am on this. Whew. That's quite a sharp one. Bring it in. Give it a bit of a shake. Now, can you start to feel the work going on around here? Now, the choice is yours. You can use your poof, you can use your sofa. We're actually going to do a half moon. So I'll show you with both, so you can actually see the corner of my poof over here. So what I'm going to do is put my weight onto this supporting leg. You're facing forward. In fact, let me bring the poof. So if you're going to go into a triangle, so this toe is facing that way. If I go into a triangle, and then the warrior two with the 6 o'clock arms, then I put my hand on here, I can bring it up in the half moon. And I can make sure that my hip is rotated to the back and it's not coming forward. If you have a yoga block, that's even better. Give that a go. So I'm going to go back to the first side. So I go with my triangle, I go with my 6 o'clock arms, either hands on the poof, the side, the sofa, and then I lift the leg. And I'm concentrating on rolling the hip back. Now, your next move, ladies and gentlemen, bend your knee, take it back, and again. Can you give me 5? Not too many, not too few. Oh, there's your Pilates. Shake it off, swap sides. So we have the triangle, bending into the knee now to put the hand down or onto your poof. We bring it up into the half moon and roll this hip backwards. All right, give me 5 knees. 5, 4, nice and straight. 3, 2, 1 more. Ooh, and bring it up and shake it off. I like that one. You can feel the work all round there. So we're going to go back to a bit of a down dog because we've not finished. There's so much more to a down dog. It's a gift that keeps on giving. I'm going to roll down here into a down dog. Shoulders are back, and then taking it down. So walking the hands forward until I'm in my down dog, holding the sides to stop me from slipping. Now, can you come into a plank? Take it back up again. Now you're in this down dog. Can you do me a pike press up? A pike press up, bend your elbows, bring it back. Give me a couple of those so you get into the feel of it. And then you can figure out how you want your hands and the most secure for you. When you've done a few of those, transition to a plank. Remember, you can put your knees down. And the nice thing about putting the knees down, you actually have to work harder to control the drop so you don't hurt your knees. So what's working harder? Your abs are working harder. Connecting the toes. Let's down dog. Make sure you've got your press stud in your belly button. Plank. Remember, you can put your knees down if you want. Down dog. Let's have a pike press up. Pike press up, plank, down dog. Pike press up, plank, down dog. Press, plank, dog. Press, plank, dog. Last one. And knees down. Shake your arms and have a drink. Ooh, I liked that one. If you do a bit of a backstroke as well, that'll help. We're going to go into a child's pose because that'll really help as well. So child's pose, hands here. Just by putting the hands on the back, it does seem to give a bit of an instant relief for the shoulders. Then we're going to give them a little bit more of a rest. So while we're here, let's just lie down on your tummy. And just put your hands here. Now, can you just lift your chest off the floor and put it back again? And keep doing that. Up and down. Now let's get a bit higher with every one. So what I'm going to do is to bring my elbows underneath to come up and down. And trying to think about going a little bit higher. Now with the hands out here, if you lift your elbows up off the floor, it puts a little bit too much pressure on your lower back. So if you feel like you need to lift your elbows up, what I would suggest that you do is either bring your hands here, and still not too far, or no hands at all. You could also lengthen your lever by putting your arms up here. The lengthening of the lever actually adds extra weight onto your upper body and making your back work a little bit harder. Keep looking at the floor, arms next to your ears. Breathe out, breathe in. Breathe out, breathe in. Give me one more, and then it's pose of a child time. So you can do whatever you want with your arms, because they've already had a bit of a rest, haven't they? So here we go. I do like this. As much rest for the shoulders as possible. It's always a good thing. So now we're going into the traditional Pilates. We're going to do the swim. So lie down. Arms above your head. The best way to do it is to set it up. So lift your right arm and your left leg. Head down. Change over. Now the Pilates swim, arms and legs stay off the floor, and we're going to go very quickly. So the reason that I set it up is once you've got it all set up, everything will flow and you won't be floundering around. So right arm, left leg. And then you swap and flick it. Don't forget your Pilates breathing, which I'm about to do for you. The Pilates breathing contracts your abs and your muscles, and so that's how they work. And relax. Let's do another 10. Breathe in. And relax. One more set. And down. So I'm going to sit into a pose of a child just to give the lower back a bit of a stretch. I'm just putting my hands on my back just to relax those shoulders a bit more. Hands next to your head to lift up. So your next one is going to be the breaststroke. If I move away from my wall, bring it here, and kick the poof out the way. So we're going to come up. It's a bit like a snow angel, to be honest. Lifting it up, open out, bring it back and down. So you can feel this in the lower back. We all need the lower back strengthening, and especially when we're doing things that we wouldn't normally do. So a lot of neck issues happen with bad swimming technique. When you're bending over and I tell you to lower your head so your back is in alignment with your spine, as you've noticed, it instantly takes that pain away. So the usual breaststroke you see with people trying not to get their hair wet, you'll have dry hair, but you'll have a bad neck. Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? One more. Breathe out. And sit back into your pose of a child. Oh, that's good. Hands on the back if you need a bit of a shoulder relaxation. Hands next to the head and bring it up. So now we're coming back on all fours to really put that pressure onto your core. So we start here, knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Remember, you've also got this if you want to. So we start with opposite arms next to your ears and put it down. Put it down exactly where it was. What I don't want you to do is that. That's just going to hurt your shoulders. And online physio, although costs the same as person-to-person physio, it's not as good. You're not getting a massage. So don't waste your money. Do your technique correctly. You won't have to pay the physio. Hold that tummy in. Do not rock your shoulders. Breathe out, breathe in. Breathe out, breathe in. One more, and then we're going to change it to the legs. So you'll feel slightly different. I want to take my arms out wider, but they're still underneath the shoulders. One leg, without turning the hip. Your hips want to turn out. Try and keep your knee pointing to the floor. If you keep your knee pointing to the floor, as opposed to turned out like that, that's when you work your abs. Breathe out, breathe in. Breathe out, breathe in. So now you've got the hang of it. Keeping the hip straight. Why don't we add the arms? All the time, correcting. That's what I'm doing. I'm correcting my hip every single move. If your hands are flat on the floor, press through the big fingers. Press through the end of your fingers even. I'm really feeling that work there now. Don't tilt it. Give me one more. And then pose of a child it. And I'll have a drink. Now, before we change, do you think you can take this a bit further? We'll do another set. However, it's up to you if you want to lift your knees up off the floor. Give it a go though, because you never know until you try. So we're here. I'm going to connect my toes and lift my knees up. So you could start arms. Yes, it's a killer. Arms. And then you can go legs. Make sure that those knees 5 centimetres off the floor. And then you might need a rest before you do the two together. Please make sure it's opposite. Right arm, left leg, vice versa. Okay, you good to go? It's like I'm psyching myself up. Leg out, arm out, bring it back. Leg out, arm out, bring it back. That is a definite warmer-upper. Okay, so we're nearly there. Nearly there. What else have we got to do? We've got the bridge, which is going to be good. Before you sit down, watch this. Feet hip distance apart. taking the feet as close to the bottom as you can get them. Press through your big toes as we come up and we lift the hips as far off the floor as possible. So you're squeezing your glutes, you're feeling the work at the back of your legs, and bring it back down again. Breathe in, breathe out. Now take your arms out to the side because this is what's going to give you that balance. Breathe in, lift it up, extend a leg. Now keep your shoulders exactly where they are. Take the leg out to 2 o'clock and bring it back. The reason why I'm saying keeping your shoulders where they are is because where your shoulders are, your hips will follow. So I need your chest square to the ceiling. It wants to go to the side when you take it out, but you're going to stop it by using your abs. Now, if you're thinking, let me see if I can test myself. How about using your arms here and back? Up, to the side, bring it back and down. Up, to the side. When you go to the side, you can really feel it down there. If you're starting to get used to this and you have the room, can you take your leg out to 9 o'clock even? And back. One more on each side. Out to the side. Woo-hoo-hoo! Bring it back. So we're keeping this knee pointing up to the ceiling. One more. Up, out, and in. Hook your knees into your chest. Have a bit of a rock. Now extend the legs, extend the arms. Try and touch the wall with your toes and the wall with your fingers. 3, 2, hug your knees. And then rock up into a sitting position. Whew. Cross your legs. Hands on one side. Lift your chest up and look behind you. Oh, that's nice. And then let's do it. Go to the other side. Lift up and look. Back to the centre. Walk it forward. And down. Lift that chest again. Hands together in prayer. Take a deep breath in. Breathe in. Breathe out. Namaste. Ladies and